All right, so welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty interesting, I think, at least from the excerpts you sent me.
Oh, yeah?
It seems really fascinating. We're going to be talking about Islamic teachings, but more specifically about interpersonal communication. And I don't know about you, but I had never heard of these terms before. Humaza and lumaza.
Yeah, they're not terms that you hear every day. And that's kind of, I think, what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're really going kind of beyond just, the surface level, like, oh, don't lie, be truthful. But it's more nuanced than that. It really gets you thinking about all the different ways that we communicate and the impact our words can have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes in very subtle ways.
Yeah. So why don't we jump into it?
Okay.
Humaza is the first one.
Yeah, humaza is, a fascinating concept.
So from what I read, it's almost like a form of reputation sabotage, right?
Exactly.
Like backbiting, slander, whispering to turn people against each other.
Yeah, and it's interesting because one of the sources I was looking at actually used the term reputation sabotage.
Wow.
Which I thought was really apt because that's exactly what it is. It's like you're trying to damage someone's standing within a community without them even necessarily knowing about it, right?
Yeah, right.
And so, the question is why is this concept so significant within Islam? And I think it really comes back to, one of the core values, which is community.
Okay.
And positive relationships. And so anything that threatens that,
right,
which obviously Humaza does, because when you're backbiting and slandering, you're eroding trust,
right,
and you're creating division and suspicion between people, and so that's really seen as a very serious offense because it undermines the whole fabric of society.
Yeah, and I mean it's interesting too because there's that hadith, that saying from Prophet Muhammad,
right,
that really brings it home pretty powerfully, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
It says the worst of Allah's servants are those who slander indirectly, cause separation between friends, and find fault with innocent people. I mean, that's pretty heavy, right?
It is. And it really, emphasizes the severity, right? We might think, it's just a little gossip, right? A big deal. But no. From an Islamic perspective, this is something that is seen as, hugely damaging and really something to be avoided.
So then how is lumaza different from this?
So lumaza is interesting because it's more direct.
Okay.
Humaza is kind of, like we said, it's this indirect...
Behind the back.
Yeah, behind the scenes, kind of trying to turn people against each other. But lumaza it's direct insults. Okay. It's belittlement. It's disrespectful behavior. And one of the excerpts we have actually gives some really vivid examples.
Oh, really?
It talks about pointing fingers aggressively, using really harsh and derogatory language, mocking someone's appearance.
Yeah. Or
even just the tone of voice, right? You can, even if you're saying something that on the surface might seem neutral,
right,
if it's delivered in a very condescending or disrespectful tone,
right,
that can still fall under lumaza.
And so I guess it's not just about what you're saying.
Exactly.
But how you're saying it.
Exactly.
And what your intention is behind it.
And what your intention is behind it. What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to, lift somebody up, or are you trying to put them down?
And the excerpts that we have are interesting because they're saying that even those who are, claim to be really straightforward and honest,
yes,
they can still fall into this category of lumaza.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times have we heard people say, I'm just being honest.
Right.
I tell it like it is.
Right. But the thing is that even if what you're saying is factually accurate, if it's delivered in a way that is intentionally hurtful or disrespectful or belittling, then that's a problem.
Right. You're not really being honest. You're just using honesty as a weapon to hurt somebody.
That's a good point.
And so I think that's what's really, challenging about this concept of lumaza. It really forces us to kind of step back and really evaluate our own communication styles.
And be more mindful.
To be more mindful, yeah.
And I think that's what I'm getting from both of these, right? Humaza and lumaza are really showing that there's this very nuanced view.
Right.
In Islam of ethical communication.
Absolutely.
It's not enough to just avoid lying.
Exactly.
You have to be mindful of the potential impact of every word that you're saying, whether it's direct or indirect.
And to always err on the side of kindness and respect.
And so how could we use these principles, I guess, in everyday life?
That's a great question. I mean, for me, what I take away from this is that, every interaction we have is an opportunity to either build something up or to tear it down.
Right.
Our words have that power. And so it's really about being conscious of that.
Right.
And choosing to use our words to create a more positive and harmonious environment.
And for those listening, we hope that this has been a valuable deep dive.
Yes.
And maybe will lead you to think a little bit differently about how you communicate with others.
Yeah. How we can use our words to build bridges rather than walls.
I like that. To build bridges rather than walls. That's a good takeaway, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your insights with me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we'll be back next week with another deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
Into another fascinating subject.
Absolutely.
Until then, take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.